American actor Bruce Willis began his career in 1980 with an uncredited role in The First Deadly Sin. After guest starring in a 1984 episode of Miami Vice, he appeared in the first episode of the 1985 revival of The Twilight Zone. Willis achieved fame starring in the ABC comedy-drama series Moonlighting, for which he received 3 Golden Globe nominations for Best Actor Television Series Musical or Comedy and 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. In 1988, he starred as John McClane in Die Hard, a film that spawned 4 sequels that earned him international recognition as an action hero. In the following years, Willis lent his voice for the video game Apocalypse, the comedy film Look Who's Talking, and its sequel Look Who's Talking 2. In 1991, he conceived the story for Hudson Hawk, starred as Bo Weinberg in Billy Bathgate, and appeared in The Last Boy Scout alongside Damon Wayans, which earned a cult following and a nomination for the MTV Movie Award for Best On-Screen Duo. Willis' additional credits include Pulp Fiction, 12 Monkeys, Last Man Standing, The Fifth Element, and Armageddon. In 1999, he starred as Dr. Malcolm Crowe in the critically acclaimed The Sixth Sense, which earned 6 Academy Award nominations. His guest appearance on Friends in 2000 earned his 3rd Emmy nomination, this time for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. After appearing in Sin City and voicing the lead character in the animated film Over the Hedge, he starred in Red and made a cameo appearance in The Expendables. By the 2010s, Willis began starring in straight-to-video films that have received mostly negative reviews from critics and moviegoers. From the New York Times, Elizabeth Vincentelli analyzed several of his films and found that they generally lacked substance, with action sequences replacing any attempts at coming up with decent plots, and featured Willis for an average of 15 minutes. Willis has also starred in the 2012 films Moonrise Kingdom, The Expendables 2, and Looper. In 2013, he made an appearance as the title character in G.I. Joe, Retaliation and hosted Saturday Night Live. Willis is also known for collaborating with writer and director M. Night Shyamalan in several of his films including the East Rail 177 trilogy consisting of Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. In March 2022, Willis' family announced he was retiring from acting after he was diagnosed with aphasia. By the end of his career, the films he starred in had grossed over $5 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest-grossing actors in the world. Early life. Walter Bruce Willis was born in Idar-Oberstein, West Germany, on March 19, 1955. His mother, Marlene, was German, from Kassel. His father, David Willis, was an American soldier. Willis has a younger sister, Florence, and 2 younger brothers, Robert and David. After being discharged from the military in 1957, his father relocated the family to his hometown of Carneys Point, New Jersey. Willis has described his background as a long line of blue-collar people. His mother worked in a bank and his father was a welder, master mechanic, and factory worker. Willis, who spoke with a stutter, attended Penns Grove High School, where his schoolmates nicknamed him Buck Buck. He joined the drama club, found that acting on stage reduced his stutter, and was eventually elected student council president. After graduating from high school in 1973, Willis worked as a security guard at the Salem nuclear power plant and transported crew members at the DuPont Chambers Works factory in Deepwater, New Jersey. After working as a private investigator, he turned to acting. He enrolled in the drama program at Montclair State University, where he was cast in a production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. He left school in 1977 and moved to New York City, where he supported himself in the early 1980s as a bartender at the Manhattan art bar Kamikaze while living in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood. Career. 1980s, I Die Hard / I and rise to fame. None. 1990s, I Die Hard / I sequels, I Pulp Fiction / I and dramatic roles. None. 2000s. In 2000, Willis won an Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for his work on Friends. He was also nominated for a 2001 American Comedy Award for his work on Friends. Also in 2000, Willis played Jimmy the Tulip Tutski in The Whole 9 Yards alongside Matthew Perry. Willis was originally cast as Terry Benedict in Ocean's 11 but dropped out to work on recording an album. In the sequel, Ocean's 12, he makes a cameo appearance as himself. In 2005, he appeared in the film adaptation of Sin City. In 2006, he lent his voice as RJ the Raccoon in Over the Hedge. In 2007, he appeared in the Planet Terror half of the double feature Grindhouse as the villain, a mutant soldier. This marked Willis's second collaboration with director Robert Rodriguez, following Sin City. Willis appeared on The Late Show with David Letterman several times throughout his career. He filled in for an ill David Letterman on his show February 26, 2003, when he was supposed to be a guest. On many of his appearances on the show, Willis staged elaborate jokes, such as wearing a day-glow orange suit in honor of the Central Park Gates, having one side of his face made up with simulated birdshot wounds after the Harry Whittington shooting, or trying to break a record of staying underwater for only 20 seconds. On April 12, 2007, he appeared again, this time wearing a Sanjay Malakar wig. On his June 25, 2007, appearance, he wore a mini wind turbine on his head to accompany a joke about his own fictional documentary titled An Unappealing Hunch. Willis also appeared in Japanese Subaru Legacy television commercials. Tying in with this, Subaru did a limited run of Legacies, badged Subaru Legacy Touring Bruce, in honor of Willis. Willis has appeared in 5 films with Samuel L. Jackson, and both actors were slated to work together in Blackwater Transit, before dropping out. Willis also worked with his eldest daughter, Rumer, in the 2005 film Hostage. In 2007, he appeared in the thriller Perfect Stranger, opposite Halle Berry, the crime/drama film Alpha Dog, opposite Sharon Stone, and reprised his role as John McClane in Live Free or Die Hard. Subsequently, he appeared in the films What Just Happened and Surrogates, based on the comic book of the same name. Willis was slated to play U.S. Army General William R. Pierce in director Oliver Stone's Pinkville, a drama about the investigation of the 1968 My Lai massacre. However, due to the 2007 Writers Guild of America strike, the film was cancelled. Willis appeared on the 2008 Blues Traveler album North Hollywood Shootout, giving a spoken word performance over an instrumental blues rock jam on the track Free Willis. In early 2009, he appeared in an advertising campaign to publicize the insurance company Norwich Union's change of name to Aviva. 2010s. Willis starred with Tracy Morgan in the comedy Cop Out, directed by Kevin Smith, about 2 police detectives investigating the theft of a baseball card. The film was released in February 2010. Willis appeared in the music video for the song Stylo by Gorillaz. Also in 2010, he appeared in a cameo with former Planet Hollywood CO owners and 80s action stars Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film The Expendables. Willis played the role of generic bald man Mr. Church. This was the first time these 3 notable action movie actors appeared on screen together. Although the scene featuring the 3 was short, it was one of the most highly anticipated scenes in the film. The trio filmed their scene in an empty church on October 24, 2009. Willis next starred in Red, an adaptation of the comic book miniseries of the same name, in which he portrayed Frank Moses. The film was released on October 15, 2010. Willis starred alongside Bill Murray, Edward Norton, and Frances McDormand in Moonrise Kingdom. Filming took place in Rhode Island under the direction of Wes Anderson. In 2011, Willis returned, in an expanded role, in The Expendables 2. He appeared alongside Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the sci-fi action film Looper, as the older version of Gordon-Levitt's character, Joe. Willis teamed up with 50 Cent in a film directed by David Barrett called Fire with Fire, starring opposite Josh Duhamel and Rosario Dawson, about a fireman who must save the love of his life. Willis also joined Vince Vaughn and Catherine Zeta-Jones in Lay the Favorite, directed by Stephen Frears, about a Las Vegas cocktail waitress who becomes an elite professional gambler. The two films were distributed by Lionsgate Entertainment. Willis reprised his most famous role, John McClane, for a fifth time, starring in A Good Day to Die Hard, which was released on February 14, 2013. In an interview, Willis said, "I have a warm spot in my heart for Die Hard. It's just the sheer novelty of being able to play the same character over 25 years and still be asked back is fun. It's much more challenging to have to do a film again and try to compete with myself, which is what I do in Die Hard. I try to improve my work every time." On October 12, 2013, Willis hosted Saturday Night Live with Katy Perry as a musical guest. In 2015, Willis made his Broadway debut in William Goldman's adaptation of Stephen King's novel Misery opposite Laurie Metcalf at the Broadhurst Theatre. His performance was generally panned by critics, who called it vacant and inert. Willis was the subject of a roast by Comedy Central in a program broadcast on July 29, 2018. Films featuring Willis have grossed between $2.64 billion and $3.05 billion at the North American box offices, making him in 2010 the 8th highest grossing actor in a leading role and 12th highest including supporting roles. He is a two-time Emmy Award winner, a Golden Globe Award winner, and has been nominated for a Saturn Award 4 times. 2020s, critical decline, health problems, and retirement. In 2020, Willis portrayed Doraemon for SoftBank 5G advertisements in Japan. In January 2021, he was asked to leave a Los Angeles Rite Aid store for not wearing a mask to protect against COVID-19 during the pandemic in California. Willis later said it was an error in judgment. "Be safe out there everyone and let's continue to mask up." In the later years of his career, Willis starred in many low-budget independent action thriller and science fiction films. Described by Chris Nashawati of Esquire as a profitable safe harbor for actors of a certain age similar to The Expendables, most of these films were released direct-to-video and were widely panned by critics. For these projects, Willis would often earn $2 million for 2 days' work at an average of 15 minutes screen time per film. 20 of these pictures were produced by Randall Emmett. The films earned a toxic reputation for using Willis heavily in promotional materials but including him for minimal screen time, so much that Cosmic Sin stood out for including Willis in roughly half of the action. Those working with Willis on the films later said he appeared confused, did not understand why he was there, and had to be fed lines through an earpiece. Days before Willis was scheduled to arrive on set for Out of Death, the screenwriter was instructed to reduce his role and abbreviate his dialogue. At the same time, the director was told that he would have to complete all of Willis' scenes over 1 day of filming. The Golden Raspberry Awards, an annual award for the year's worst films and performances, created a dedicated category, the worst Bruce Willis performance in a 2021 movie, for his roles in 8 films released that year. On March 30, 2022, Willis's family announced that he was retiring as he had been diagnosed with aphasia, a disorder caused by damage to the area of the brain that controls language expression and comprehension. The Golden Raspberry Awards retracted its Willis category, saying it was inappropriate to award a Golden Raspberry to someone whose performance was affected by a medical condition. At the time of his retirement, Willis had completed 8 films awaiting release in 2022 and 2023. Business activities. Willis owns houses in Los Angeles and Penns Grove, New Jersey. He also rents apartments at Trump Tower and in Riverside South, Manhattan. In 2000, Willis and his business partner Arnold Rifkin started a motion picture production company called Cheyenne Enterprises. He left the company to be run solely by Rifkin in 2007 after Live Free or Die Hard. He also owns several small businesses in Hailey, Idaho, including the Mint Bar and the Liberty Theater, and was one of the first promoters of Planet Hollywood, with actors Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. Willis and the other actors were paid for their appearances and endorsements through an employee stock ownership plan. In 2009, Willis signed a contract to become the international face of Belvedere S.A.'s Sobieski vodka in exchange for 3.3% ownership in the company. Personal life. Willis's acting role models are Gary Cooper, Robert De Niro, Steve McQueen, and John Wayne. He is left-handed. He resides in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles with his family. Relationships and children. At the premiere for the film Stakeout, Willis met actress Demi Moore. They married on November 21, 1987, and had 3 daughters, including Rumer, who was born in August 1988. Willis and Moore announced their separation on June 24, 1998. They filed for divorce on October 18, 2000, and the divorce was finalized later that day. Regarding the divorce, Willis stated, "I felt I had failed as a father and a husband by not being able to make it work." He credited actor Will Smith for helping him cope with the situation. He has maintained a close friendship with both Moore and her subsequent husband, actor Ashton Kutcher, and attended their wedding. Willis was engaged to actress Brooke Burns until they broke up in 2004 after 10 months together. He married model Emma Hemming in Turks and Caicos on March 21, 2009. Guests included his 3 daughters, as well as Moore and Kutcher. The ceremony was not legally binding, so the couple wed again in a civil ceremony in Beverly Hills 6 days later. The couple has 2 daughters, one born in 2012 and another born in 2014. Religious views. Willis was a Lutheran, but no longer practices. In a July 1998 interview with George magazine, he stated, "Organized religions in general, in my opinion, are dying forms. They were all very important when we didn't know why the sun moved, why weather changed, why hurricanes occurred, or volcanoes happened. Modern religion is the entrail of modern mythology. But there are people who interpret the Bible literally. Literally. I choose not to believe that's the way. And that's what makes America cool, you know." Political views. In 1988, Willis and then-wife Demi Moore campaigned for Democratic Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis' presidential bid. 4 years later, he supported President George H.W. Bush for re-election and was an outspoken critic of Bill Clinton. However, in 1996, he declined to endorse Clinton's Republican opponent Bob Dole, because Dole had criticized Demi Moore for her role in the film Striptease. Willis was an invited speaker at the 2000 Republican National Convention, and supported George W. Bush that year. He did not make any contributions or public endorsements in the 2008 presidential campaign. In several June 2007 interviews, he declared that he maintains some Republican ideologies. In 2006, he said that the United States should intervene more in Colombia in order to end drug trafficking. In several interviews, Willis has said that he supports large salaries for teachers and police officers, and said he is disappointed in the United States foster care system as well as treatment of Native Americans. Willis also stated that he is a supporter of gun rights, stating, "Everyone has a right to bear arms. If you take guns away from legal gun owners, then the only people who have guns are the bad guys." In February 2006, Willis was in Manhattan to promote his film 16 Blocks with reporters. One reporter attempted to ask Willis about his opinion on the Bush administration, but was interrupted by Willis in mid-sentence when he said, "I'm sick of answering this fucking question. I'm a Republican only as far as I want a smaller government, I want less government intrusion. I want them to stop shitting on my money and your money and tax dollars that we give 50% of every year. I want them to be fiscally responsible and I want these goddamn lobbyists out of Washington. Do that and I'll say I'm a Republican. I hate the government, okay? I'm apolitical. Write that down. I'm not a Republican." Willis's name was in an advertisement in the Los Angeles Times on August 17, 2006, that condemned Hamas and Hezbollah and supported Israel in the 2006 Israel-Lebanon war. Military interests. Throughout his film career, Willis has depicted several military characters in films such as In Country, The Siege, Heart's War, Tears of the Sun, Grindhouse, and G.I. Joe, Retaliation. Growing up in a military family, Willis has publicly sold Girl Scout cookies for the United States Armed Forces. In 2002, Willis's then 8-year-old daughter, Tallulah, suggested that he purchase Girl Scout cookies to send to troops. Willis purchased 12,000 boxes of cookies, and they were distributed to sailors aboard USS John F. Kennedy and other troops stationed throughout the Middle East at the time. In 2003, Willis visited Iraq as part of the USO tour, singing to the troops with his band, the Accelerators. Willis considered joining the military to help fight the Second Iraq War, but was deterred by his age. It was believed he offered $1 million to any non-combatant who turns in terrorist leaders Osama bin Laden, Ayman al-Zawahiri, or Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, in the June 2007 issue of Vanity Fair. However, he clarified that the statement was made hypothetically and not meant to be taken literally. Willis has also criticized the media for its coverage of the war, complaining that the press were more likely to focus on the negative aspects of the war. "I went to Iraq because what I saw when I was over there was soldiers, young kids for the most part, helping people in Iraq, helping getting the power turned back on, helping get hospitals open, helping get the water turned back on, and you don't hear any of that on the news. You hear, X number of people were killed today, which I think does a huge disservice. It's like spitting on these young men and women who are over there fighting to help this country." In popular culture. In 1996, Roger Director, a writer and producer from Moonlighting, wrote a roman à clef on Willis titled A Place to Fall. Sybil Shepherd wrote in her 2000 autobiography, Sybil Disobedience, that Willis became angry at director when he read the book and discovered the character had been written as a neurotic, petulant actor. A Lego version of himself appeared in the 2019 film The Lego Movie 2, the second part, with Willis providing the voice. Filmography. Discography. Solo albums. 1987, The Return of Bruno. 1989, If It Don't Kill You, It Just Makes You Stronger. 2001, Classic Bruce Willis, The Universal Masters Collection.